This is BonnieVent. Recently, Michael came to me with a request. He wants to partner with me and the connection in order to continue to be of service to humankind. He is very interested in reconnecting with people who have remained loyal to his messages while he was alive and since his death. How could I say no? In many ways, this will be an interesting experiment. We will be starting with question-answer sessions. Where this project will lead promises to be a very interesting journey. There is an existing group for the connection on Facebook. I asked the members to submit a spiritual question. These are their questions, and the answers will likely be a combination of the connection, Michael, and me. I have noticed in this work that I receive images that are relevant to the message, but do not come through to the person listening to the message. I will add my impressions to this process as well. The background that I have chosen for this video is the closest thing I could find to what I see visually when I tune into Michael's surroundings. I am sure it pales to the real thing, but it gives you an idea of what I'm seeing. We each have our own journey. We ask that you use your own powers of discernment. Please accept what resonates with you and disregard the rest. And now, here is the connection and Michael. Karen asks, does helping someone here on Earth work pretty much the same as loved ones helping from the other side, or is it different? The connection says, hi Karen. There are similar energy patterns at play. Living in 3D tends to be chaotic with lots of energy waves swirling around and distracting people. They may intend to send energy or prayers, but they may also find it difficult to hold these energy patterns. A person's spiritual guidance is dedicated to them, and the energy focus is quite precise to what is needed at the moment. Loved ones who have passed may provide sympathetic energy and make their presence known, but the energy is different. Raiden asks, grief is something that tends to change people. There is permanent grief separate from the mourning that stays with us usually throughout our lifetimes. Between my own work, what you communicate through Bonnie, and various other experiences, I've gathered that there's a spiritual reason we experience this, beyond possible reunion with loved ones and soul family. What kind of resolution or answers do you learn about where you are in relation to losses suffered in the 3D plane? What more should we seek to learn from these types of experiences while we're here? The connection says, hi Raiden, it is the challenges in life that create the most opportunity for growth. The perspective here is quite different from those living in 3D. You consider a life to be a long period of time. We do not. People often say when a loved one dies that they continue to feel their presence. This is very often true. What is missing is the belief in the words they speak. They think perhaps it's part of the grieving process, or they are imagining things. For whatever reason, speaking about this topic makes some people very uncomfortable. This makes the process much more difficult for the person grieving. Your loved one can check on you and see how you're doing. You miss them because you cannot connect with them in the 3D world. The opportunity exists to try connecting with them energetically. You must continue on your path. It would not be wise or healthy to depend upon them too much. Deb asks, when I'm upset, I will sometimes get a whiff of rose perfume. It was my mother's scent. Do these signature scents mean your loved one is nearby? The connection says, hi Deb, your question is a continuation of the prior question. Yes, loved ones will go to great lengths to let you know that they are there with you. If you recognize them by a particular scent, they can project that scent as a way for you to identify them. Yolanda asks, a lot of spiritual teachings say when you die, you're free of earthly concerns. You seem very concerned with the physical world still, in that you're quite concerned and may still feel sadness, anger over things going on here. Is that correct? And if so, I'm wondering why that is. Is there really freedom in that aspect if you still have feelings about things that are part of this world? Michael says, I can only speak for my own circumstances. There are still many things unresolved and wrongs to be righted with my family. By my own choice, I remain closer to what is happening in 3D circumstances that I care about. When you die, you do not lose your ability to love. If anything, you become more emotional and heart-centered. Some people leave the 3D world more easily than others. Try not to have regrets in your life, and the transition will be much easier. It is harder to fix after you leave 3D. Tony asks, when Bonnie relays our questions to you, do you know who our spirits are? For example, after the channeling, are you able to say, I'm going to check up on Tony, or let's see what Irina's doing? How does this work? Michael says, Hi, Tony. I do get a sense of your energy pattern. It travels along in the thought form that is being sent. I may send a little magic energy along from time to time. People seem to recognize it when they experience it. Maxie asks, I have 2 questions. The first one regarding the frequencies. I sometimes dream of people that have passed away, and sometimes it feels like they were trying to say something, but I can't hear them. Sometimes I can hear, but then I forget. Is it possible to train in that realm? I mean, do you need to concentrate, and does it take a lot of energy to talk to Bonnie? The Connection says, Hi, Maxie. It takes a great deal of concentration on Bonnie's part to hear what is being said and to hear it with clarity. She is wired to be a channel, so that is helpful to the process, but it still requires a lot of energy and focus. True messages in dream state tend to stand out from regular dreams. You will remember pieces of them when you wake up. It can be helpful to write them down or record them. Also, before going to sleep, you can request that the dream be repeated and that you will be able to hear what is being said. If the dream is a message, it will repeat at another time. Family members may take the opportunity to appear in your dream state just to let you know they are around. Perhaps the words are not important. Often dreams are just a way of releasing things that are occurring while you are awake. There can be symbolism involved as well. Take seriously the ones that are extremely vivid. Maxie says, the other question concerns your surroundings. Do they vary like layers? It seems like you can appear in dreams of people. Can you do it simultaneously? And while in life you said you felt music came from above. Now is there still the same force, a driving force to do good? The reason I ask this is because when I was a child, I dreamt of a land called Golden. I left there when I fell asleep through the wall, and once I got there, everything was light. I have always believed I came from there before I was born, but when you appear in my dreams, it looks like a gym in the real world. Same for my mom. She appears to me in a different room as if in the real world, so I am confused as to the surroundings. The Connection says, there are structures here that exist for everyone. We touched upon the library in a prior session. Your golden land is quite real, and you have visited there on several occasions. Your love for this place is very strong even now. It is quite glorious. Visitation dreams are normally set in a 3D setting so that the person having the dream is given a frame of reference and a comfortable setting. The simplest way to explain this is to say that some settings are created in the moment and others are agreed upon structures. You have the same thing in 3D. Everyone agrees that a tree is a tree. The word label may be different, but the base structure is true for everyone. Irina asks, you have alluded to being able to go out of body or astral travel, as is also known, in your earlier message via Bonnie. I do hope my interpretation of what was stated then is correct. And if my understanding of that message is accurate, can you share more details about how you were able to achieve this and where you would visit? Were the others aware of your presence when you were visiting them in your astral body? What is the experience like? Michael says, hi, Irina. As you can see from the above question, the ability to travel out of body is something that many people can do. I used to think of it as a Peter Pan experience, flying over the rooftops and looking at the lights of the city below. I would escape the confines of my life and go where the air is free, clear, and peaceful. Perhaps it was the power of my motivation that made it easy for me, or perhaps it was my direct connection to higher power energy. Most people know that I would sit for hours in a tree. No one knows where I went but me. Glunara asks, I would like to know how you refer to yourself in the dimension you are now. Do you feel yourself like a recent incarnation as Michael Jackson, or as a match of all your past incarnations, or maybe something higher, your true self, who could even have any other name? Michael says, we are greater than the sum of all of our parts. Our lives in 3D are fractions of who we truly are. We can recognize certain aspects from one particular life, but they do tend to blend together. I retain more than most due to my decision to stay closer to the situations of my last life. We are identified by our unique energy pattern. No two are the same, just like snowflakes. Lavora and Amy ask, Michael, during our last session with you, you mentioned having a soul family. Do you mean personal family members who have crossed over to the spirit realm, or a new family that one will meet on the other side? Also, I understand from the previous sessions that you are drawn to the brightness of one's light here, but does a prayer or someone needing your assistance also draw you near to them, or do you have the ability to visit spontaneously? Michael says, hi, Lavora and Amy. Soul families are very large. Some of your existing 3D friends and family are part of your soul family group. Normally, members of the soul family group reincarnate together. To give you a metaphor, they are cast members of your play. They are the people that you come across and interact with in day-to-day life. Depending on the decisions made, you may or may not meet them. This is variable. Please do not confuse needing my assistance with needing the assistance of spiritual guidance. Your guides are there to help you get through your life. You need to call upon them, not me. As mentioned before, they have a precision focus and are dedicated to you. I look for a bright light when I am in need of assistance to get a message delivered into 3D. This is a very different thing. Yolanda asks, lately I've been experiencing a lot of what may be deemed coincidences, but they still grab my attention and answers to some of my spiritual questions. How can you tell if coincidences are messages? I'm afraid I'm reading too much into things. The connection says, hi, Yolanda. Always listen to what your heart center tells you. If you feel that you are receiving a message, do not let your mind trick you out of it. If you notice it, it is a message. It may take you some time to determine what the message means. It is okay to ask for clarity if you do not understand immediately, and that is fine too. Mahlette asks, I want to know if we really meet our loved ones when we die, even if they are on a different project than us. For instance, did you meet Elizabeth Taylor? My other question, do you have a plan to reincarnate back to 3D? If yes, for what purpose? Michael says, hi, Mahlette. Everyone is greeted upon their return. You will see what is most comfortable for you to see. It is a time of transition, and great care is taken to be very gentle with people during this process. I do not plan on returning anytime soon. It is much easier for me to stay here and wait for a better time in the future. Emma asks, recently I've been very disheartened with my goals, despite me knowing that in my heart I want to help others. My intentions are often not reciprocated, and this leads me to question my purpose in life. Is purpose something that you only truly understand once you are no longer physical on earth, or is it a question of wisdom as you grow older? The connection says, hi Emma, we feel your frustration and hope you keep moving forward anyway. You have arrived in 3D to help with the next transitional phase. You are well equipped for the future, but have difficulty, as do most people, during this time of change. The old ways of making a living are changing. Think of the energy exchange instead of money. Money is an agreed upon value that is only based in the belief that it has value. Your challenge is finding value in other ways. Knowing your purpose puts you ahead of many. Keep moving one step at a time. You will find that you do receive what you need. Be flexible and creative. It will reveal itself to you. Irina asks, when you were incarnate, you brought with you exceptional qualities and talents, your spirituality, your command of language, and of course your artistry. I would very much like to know if you are presently aware of who you were in past incarnations and how you were able to draw on these exceptional qualities at a very young age. Michael says, hi Irina, I do have an awareness, but the individual lives are somewhat blended together. I came into the life as Michael Jackson with very lofty goals. This is why I needed to start on these goals at a very early age. I did not know when I was very young about being able to put out messages of peace and love. I was focused on pleasing my parents. It's easy to see now why things were the way they were. The feelings of isolation brought about a powerful force within me. I did not always handle things in the best way, but I did try my best. Perhaps my biggest mistake was thinking that everyone else felt the same way inside that I did. Irina also asks, have you gone through the life review process, and if yes, what is it like? Michael says, yes, I have gone through the process. It has calmed me down a great deal. My circumstances are a little different as my life as Michael Jackson continues to live without me. It's a very strange thing as this life without me continues to draw my energy back to 3D. I can't wait to see how the story turns out. And he laughs. Thank you for joining us today. If you'd like more information or to support this work, please see the links in the description of this video and join us at BonnieVent.com.